In this video, I'm going to walk through a strategic planning session for you and your business as a step-by-step guide. And I have not seen anyone discuss this. So stay tuned, take notes, and there's so much value in what I'm going to tell you that you're going to have to be capturing everything to plan your strategic session out. So without further ado, let's get started. So I've actually seen no one discuss this, and to take it back from the beginning, I'm going to quickly explain to you what strategy planning and strategy is. So what is strategy planning? Strategy is looking at your business in the long term. So let's say 5 to 10 years. In the strategy planning session, what you try to do is try to define those goals through a couple of different methodologies to iron out exactly what you and your business wants to achieve. Now that you know strategy is long-term planning, what you need to do is relate back to your company's mission and understand exactly what your company is trying to achieve. From there on, that will give you a good starting point as to guide you to your strategy. You also want to be evaluating your industry position. So your industry position is looking at what your industry is doing and where you're sitting in there. So there are two metrics that you want to try to evaluate. One is your market share and another one is your market growth. You can measure your market share through looking at how big the industry is and how much your revenue is. To measure your market share, what you need to do is take your revenue figure and put it over your estimated industry figure. This will give you a good idea of how much market share you've captured. Secondly, you want to look at your market growth. So this isn't to do directly with your company, but it's to do with the industry that you're working in. Is your market growing? And you also want to look at if your market is growing, say for example, 4% per year, is your company keeping up with that? This is very important to try and look at if your company is keeping up with the industry growth, because in a growing industry, your company should be matching that. If your company is not matching that, that means it's not doing as well as the industry. If your company is not matching that, that means your company is not doing as well as the industry. The next thing that you want to try and look at is your critical success factor. Your CSF is what your organisation needs to do for it to perform well. And your CSF can be a couple of different things, but try and think about what your company is trying to deliver and what value is trying to add. In addition to this, you also want to think about your customers' needs. So has your customers' needs changed from when you established a business and what you're doing now? To look at your customers' needs and to try and evaluate what's happening within the industry, you have to do a couple of different things. It can be primary or secondary research. It can be just understanding and interacting with your customers more to see what is it that they need. If you already have products or service in the marketplace, then what you can do is trying to get active feedback and look at some things to try and understand and measure what is it that your customer is enjoying and what is it your customer isn't enjoying. Doing your customer research is vital. This is because it gives you an understanding and insight of what your customers need and what they desire. You really need to review this on an active basis and not just for strategy. Once you kind of thought about your customer, you can then do a product portfolio review and also try and understand in terms of what products are doing well in the market and what products haven't done so well. When I say products, this can also be your services or whatever you're offering in your e-commerce business. You also want to think about all the different projects and programs that you want to run for your business to succeed. So what you want to do is list out every single thing that you think will help your business. And what you want to try and do is evaluate these projects on a couple of different metrics. You can split these metrics into external factors and internal factors. And what you should do is try to have a ranking system for, say for example, if you rank everything 1 to 5, 1 being not so good, 5 being fantastic, then you can try and understand and benchmark all of these projects with each other, even if they are to do with completely separate things. What's great about this is that you can actually understand and put together a list of items, and then you can evaluate very quickly which ones that you should go ahead with, which ones you could go ahead with, and which ones you should definitely bench. This is such a useful way of trying to understand, okay, what is it that you should be spending your time on? As a small business owner, as an e-commerce business, you really want to be efficient in what you're putting your time in. And with the 80-20 rule, you want to be maximizing your 20% effort into your 80% outcome. Just to give you a couple of different metrics of internal evaluation of what you can benchmark against. One of them is your budget. So this doesn't have to be exactly how much you think the project will cost. This can be an estimate. So having something that is benchmarked as 20 grand, for example, and then having something that's benchmarked as 100 grand, you can definitely see a real difference of what you think, which project you can actually afford and which one you may not be able to go ahead with. Another thing you want to think about is resource. So if you are a small growing business, resource and having staff on your side is definitely something that you want to cherish. You want you and your staff time to be able to be put to valuable use, and you don't just want your staff be doing random things. You really want to be able to utilize that resource and maximize it. Now that you've benchmarked against your cost and your time, you also want to think about your IT capabilities. This is one thing that people need to evaluate. So what is it that your current systems, in terms of IT systems, what does your company have? And what is it that your company may need to develop in terms of technicality systems, having experts in place to be able to deliver your projects? Understanding what your IT capabilities are and your restrictions are can help you hugely in planning these projects and programs and ranking everything that you want to do. This is because you want to be able to utilize and maximize your current IT skills and experts within your company, and being able to add more IT resource and experts is very costly, especially in this day and age. So you want to try and utilize exactly what you have. Implementing new systems also costs a lot of time and effort for your staff to learn exactly what you want to put in place. So definitely have a think about what you currently have and try and utilize and maximize those. So lastly, I really want to mention technology changes. And you may not want to just monitor your technology changes within your industry. You definitely want to look at all the other industries that's existing out there. This is because other technology within other industries that are more forward thinking will definitely come into play in your industry at some point. And to be able to be more forward thinking and to future proof your business, definitely look at what is it that people are talking about. A couple of different things that you want to think about could be AI, which is artificial intelligence, things like big data, and then another thing could be crypto and blockchain, and looking at everything that is related to these technologies and have a think about how it can affect your industry and your business. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that this step-by-step guide of planning your strategy has been useful. If you have any further questions, please comment below and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much. See you next time.